Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
I mean, he was a really good guy. I never expected something like this to actually happen, you know.
Tonight, we have new information about what may have happened when police were called to a murder scene in West Fargo. Good evening. Andrea is off. I'm Christine Stanwood. Police say they were called around 9 last night to a medical situation. When they got there, they found a woman shot dead and her husband bleeding out. While the man was taken to the hospital for treatment, police tell us they secured a search warrant to enter the home. Detectives are not yet releasing the names of the man or woman or why a warrant was needed, but neighbors tell us the pair were married but getting a divorce.
It is. It's very scary, especially with all the domestic that has gone around. They both had problems with each other, you know what I mean? And
coming up at 6, hear more from a neighbor who says the woman was killed was her best friend. We also have some new information out of Valley City, North Dakota about a possible kidnapping. This after a girl showed up to the police station saying she had been taken but then released. Police were called to a home on 4th Avenue Southwest for a report of a man with a gun. Police say 2 men, Johannes Brannon and Drew Gullix, threatened a 20-year-old at the home with a gun. They asked about a juvenile girl, ended up getting in a fight with a man and choked him until he was unconscious. Brannon and Gullix went to a second home where they allegedly threatened a man and woman and took the girl. She tells police she tried to escape when they stopped at a gas station, but they wouldn't let her leave. She eventually got away and went to the police station. Brannon and Gullix are facing charges of terrorizing, kidnapping, and burglary. Moorhead police are investigating a death after family members discovered a man's body in a home yesterday afternoon. They suspect he may have died from an overdose. No other information is being released, including where it happened or information about the victim, until a full investigation is complete. Authorities are now saying the death of a 5-year-old Minnesota girl is a result of homicidal violence. A Minnesota man, Zachary Anderson, is being held in the Crow Wing County Jail on suspicion of first-degree murder and kidnapping. An Amber Alert was issued Saturday, and after talking with Anderson, law enforcement found 5-year-old Alana Ertl's body in a wooded area, that just a few hundred yards away in a cabin in Cass County near Motley, Minnesota. Alana Ertl was reported missing from her Watkins, Minnesota home on Saturday morning. The family says when they woke up, Alana and a family friend staying at the home were gone, along with the family truck. Traffic troubles plague the first day of school for college students in Moorhead. Many of them prepared for class, but not for the extra minutes spent in traffic because of wrecks and road work. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker shares how the school is helping their students, maybe your son or daughter, get to campus on time.
I would say traffic on the interstate was backed up like half mile in there.
M-State students starting school today got a lesson in time management, not in the classroom, but on the road. Levi Starr was in the stalled traffic.
I saw like police pulled over and the lights, but I couldn't see. There's too many cars in the way in between me and the wrecks.
Minnesota State Patrol says in just an hour, they responded to 8 crashes on eastbound I-94 from 20th Street to the Red River Bridge.
Basically just pay attention and put your phone away. So that's probably the big problem, I'd say.
Parker Swinton says M-State has kept them up to date via email regarding the traffic situation, giving them alternate routes provided by MnDOT.
Traffic tends to level out after about the first week and people kind of get into their normal routine. So I think we'll see different traffic patterns by the end of the week, certainly, and then it'll level out through next week.
Probably leave home a little bit earlier. It wasn't too bad, but I didn't know traffic was going to be this backed up.
Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
Minnesota Department of Transportation has provided alternate routes for students going to all the colleges in Moorhead. For that information, go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story. And it's a warm one out there after a brisk weekend. Let's get right over to meteorologist Robert Hahn for a look at tonight's forecast. Robert?
Yeah, after a very nice and cool, refreshing weekend, we're quickly warming it back up. Most areas in the 80s today, even hotter as we head through the day tomorrow. So if you like the cool weather, you're going to have to wait a couple of more days. Right now, 83 here in Fargo, 85 Grand Forks, 88 up in Langdon. Winds, they've been gusty out of the south. They're going to remain up tonight. That's going to allow temperatures only to drop off into the 60s overnight tonight, mid to upper 60s in most locations. Hardly a cloud in the sky, but we can't rule out an isolated storm during the overnight hours as even warmer air starts to make its way on in, but right now, with hardly a cloud in the sky, no precipitation out there. Here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, I think we warm up a couple more degrees before we start going the other direction. And again, those southerly breezes are going to stay with us throughout the evening and overnight. Going to dip down into the upper 70s by 9 o'clock. Again, I mentioned even hotter tomorrow, but we also have more storm chances to talk about. How hot do we get and who has the best chance for storms? We'll answer those questions coming up in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Robert. A $5,000 reward is being offered to help find the vandal who ripped up a golf course in Wheaton, Minnesota over the weekend. Deputies were called to the Wheaton golf course on Saturday morning after workers discovered someone had driven donuts on the first green, doing major damage. Check this out. The Traverse County Sheriff's Office posted several pictures on the damage on Facebook, calling that devastating to the course. Now, anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Office. A Moorhead man is in jail after police say they caught him trashing someone's garage this morning. They got a call just after midnight to the 1900 block of 4th Street South after a homeowner heard some loud noises. Police say the suspect was holding the garage door shut, but they forced their way in and say they saw 37-year-old Gordy Burkhart pick up a piece of rebar. They were able to subdue him and arrest him for felony burglary and damage to property inside the garage. And a spike in garage break-ins in a couple of South Fargo neighborhoods has police reminding people to lock their garages and cars. Police say there have been a number of calls to the Amber Valley Parkway and Willow Park areas. People are getting into garages by checking the doors to see if any of them were open or unlocked. The long talked about new Fargo City Hall is about to become a reality. The work is finally underway with the official groundbreaking ceremony. The new City Hall is to be built on the west side of the old one. The project is set to cost some $22 million. The city will have significant upgrades for safety and security. The new building is also aimed at making for a better and more convenient experience when you have business to take care of there.
We have some other people talking about some other areas downtown to develop. We have people talking about develop stuff along the river now. So I think you're going to have a lot more energy in the community where what can we bring to Fargo, what would be good to bring into the community. And I think we'll see this as a catalyst.
The new building is expected to be ready by the fall of 2018. More debate today on the transgender bathroom issue as a federal judge blocks rules intended to allow transgender students to use the restroom of their choice. The judge for the Northern District of Texas granted a nationwide injunction temporarily blocking the guidance from the Obama administration covering students in public schools. 13 states, including North Dakota, appealed to the courts, arguing the directive is unconstitutional. The federal government in May directed public schools to allow transgender students to use bathrooms and locker rooms consistent with their gender identity. Tomorrow, Thompson voters will head to the polls for the 4th time in 4 years to decide the fate of a school expansion project. The $10 million proposed project failed by just 7 votes during the last go-around. Enrollment has jumped in recent years, and officials are projecting it to climb another 11% in the coming years. School officials say they're simply out of room. The renovation and expansion project would include building a much larger lunchroom and turning the old gym into more classroom and resource space. Now, a yes vote would mean a yearly $260 tax hike to a $100,000 home. Kids in Fargo Public Schools have a few more days before they return to the classroom, but for teachers, the new school year starts today. A big celebration and welcome back event at Shields Arena today for teachers, administrators, and support staff. The gathering also provides an opportunity to recognize the staff, administrator, and teacher of the year. Classes for Fargo Public Schools starts on Thursday. It's an annual partnership that gets kids looking their best for their first day of school. Today, the students and staff at Joseph School of Hair Design opened 60 haircutting stations to give free haircuts to any student K through 12. Matt Bus provided free rides, and the Salvation Army was also there helping out. Last year, close to 200 kids in Fargo-Moorhead got new haircuts through the Cuts for Kids program. After a busy move-in weekend at North Dakota State University, the incoming class of freshmen were officially welcomed by the presidents today. All incoming students were led through the gates by the student body president and university president Dean Brashani. The Gold Star Marching Band and Bison Arts singers added a musical touch to the welcoming ceremony. Fall classes started at 4 o'clock this afternoon. This week officially marks the start of the Bison football season and our coverage here at KVLY. The Bison open the season as the #1 team in both the Stats FCS poll and the FCS coaches poll. The game against Charleston Southern kicks off at 6:30 on Saturday, and it can be seen on ESPN. You won't want to miss the Farmers Union Insurance Bison football pregame show. Alex Egan and Ryan Gellner will be breaking down each and every Bison game just 1 hour ahead of kickoff. It starts this Saturday at 5:30. A record number of drivers are calling for help on the road, and surprisingly, many of them are in newer vehicles. Still ahead tonight, we'll tell you why AAA says technology could be to blame.
Today, a warm and quiet day across the region, but overnight tonight and again late tomorrow, a chance for some storms along with some very warm weather. All your forecast details on both the storm chances and the hot weather coming up right after this.